The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi there. Happy Thursday, everybody. This is Josh LeMaster. I'm one of the co-founders and the chief financial officer of Perfect Golf Event. I know I see a lot of familiar names that are signed up today that are already working with Perfect Golf Event. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how the day's going to go, and then a little bit about why and how we ended up working with Vortex Weather Insurance and really talking about rain protection. Um, it's fourth year working with Vortex, and what we were looking for with either operating or assisting in the operation of thousands of golf events, a lot of them fundraising events every year. We were looking for an option that would really provide some risk protection for rain, and usually that's been accomplished with kind of traditional event cancellation insurance. But what we found and feedback from a lot of our event organizers is that it was a little bit tedious, both the process of getting it and then the process of making a claim, whether it was rain or some other occurrence that caused an event cancellation. So we really, you'll hear more about it, and you'll quickly understand why what Vortex does is different, as it relates to rain protection. And we this year, in light of our partnership, actually started offering some Vortex coverage with all of our Eagle and higher upgraded software packages. They now include at least a level of protection that can be increased, as needed to fully protect the event. But that way everybody can kind of see what it does, and there's nothing required to do that. It's automatic, because we know where and when the event is. So today, everything you see on the screen, I'll kind of be quiet here in a second. Everything you see will be shared with you as a video link, also a PDF of attachment, and then of course everybody's contact information. And I really appreciate everybody taking the time to learn more about this. And we hope to accomplish this in about 25 minutes here, leaving some room for questions. So I'll be watching on your toolbar. You should see a chat menu and a place where you can raise your hand. I'll be monitoring that. You might see me reach out to you directly, and I'll reach out to everybody here just so you know the chat works. So with that said, let me introduce Eric Anderson at Vortex Weather. And Eric, why don't you take it away?
Josh, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, we've got a big group today. This is our 10th webinar of the year. We usually do around 20, so thank you all for attending across the country. Very excited to be working with Josh for our fourth year at Perfect Golf Event, his team. They are the best in the business. Today, I'm going to give a webinar for about 20 minutes. So just whether you're a first-time organizer or you've been doing this for 5, 10, or 15 years, what I'd like you to think about is the potential effect of rain and what it can do to your overall revenue goals. Whether it's a little bit, a medium amount, or a lot, how it's going to affect and potentially hurt what you're trying to target. So what we do is we provide a series of products that I'm going to go through. And then from there, throughout the presentation, I'd like you to think about how your event is run. They're all run differently, whether you're trying to raise $5,000 for a small event. We write policies all the way up to the PGA and Champions Tour and everything in between. So Josh is going to send this, the recording plus the PDF slide show to you at the end. But afterwards, we're going to answer some questions for you. And then I look forward to following up with everyone so I can price up your event and basically hold your hand through the process. So we're going to get started here, and just hold your questions until the end. So we like to say, don't let bad weather slice into your club's bottom line. You can't predict the weather, but you can help protect your business from it. There's a myth out there that insurance agencies don't know weather, and it turns out we are weather nerds. We're proud of that. Our team has over 100+ years of combined experience in the weather risk management industry, and we've been helping protect events since 2008 using data-driven policies that mitigate risk. A little bit about us. Vortex Insurance is a subsidiary of MSI Guaranteed Weather, which has been in the weather risk management industry for more than a quarter century. And since 2008, the Vortex Weather Insurance arm has specialized in insurance products for outdoor events, such as fairs and festivals and concerts, racetracks, lacrosse tournaments, jumpy castles, you name it. And in 2019, they started offering it to golf properties, golf tournaments, country clubs, Monday, Thursday outings, year-long opportunities for hedging possibilities. And so we're asked this all the time, who's our insurance carrier? It's our parent, Mitsui Sumitomo. We are A+ rated by AM Best. We are an MGU, which means we underwrite everything in-house. So here's a picture of me. Nice to meet everyone. I am Eric Anderson. I'm the National Director of Sales, not just for golf, but for all of our products. And I've been doing this for Vortex since 2019. But I've been in the weather derivative space for over 20 years. We're looking through 25 years now. I ran a global desk. I was actually the broker for Guaranteed Weather, which is Vortex Weather Insurance. So I did all of their global trading for over 15 years. They hired me in 2019 to run the sales group for golf because there was such a need out there for weather insurance for tournaments like all of you on our call run. Before that, I played golf professionally. I worked at Augusta National. I toured around. I've run golf tournaments. I played in a gazillion tournaments. So I can help you with the pain points of running the tournament, what you're trying to achieve. I also really encourage you to work with everything that Perfect Golf and Josh and their team has to offer, from raising money to really establishing your event, because they don't miss a beat when they're helping events like yours. So there's a myth out there in the golf business: you can't fight Mother Nature. We say not so fast. You can stand up to Mother Nature and help protect your revenue with Vortex. Across the country, savvy golf course operators and tournament organizers are using rain insurance as a risk management hedge. So as a hedge, you want to think about, okay, anticipated heavy play periods. You can seasonal monthly hedges. We really have a robust set of products. Monday golf outings, 2-day events, galas in the evening that run into weekends, members, member guests. There's a lot of golf and pickleball events now, combination fundraisers. So there's a lot of different things that we can help you with. And then you say, okay, what is at risk? Well, ultimately, it's the play-related revenue. So it's not just as people are getting there, but it's the on-course activities. It's the raffles. It's the drone drops. It's the lunch or the dinner when everybody's having cocktails for the silent auctions, okay? So you want to think about whether you're running member guests or corporate outings, any kind of fundraiser, all the pieces that go into it. The food and bev, obviously, alcohol is a big driver, but it's the on-course activities and the people coming to hopefully spend money for your event and what you're trying to raise money for. Okay, this is a very important slide to understand. So rain insurance versus P&C insurance. The chance of sustaining an adverse rain occurrence for a golf event is significantly greater compared to traditional P&C. So here's the chance of a potential insurance claim on a single day over a 20-year period: 0.015 for car insurance and 0.003 for home insurance, hopefully, right? So then if you look at this next slide, as a comparison, here's the chance of just 1/4 of an inch of rain falling on any single day between June and August, significantly greater across the country. And this is where we come in to help you, the golf tournament organizers. A myth: rain insurance is complex, and we've built something that's really, really slick. The good news is we make it simple for you. And this is basically how it works. So rain insurance is parametric. What does that word mean? Rain insurance is triggered simply if the recorded rainfall at your location meets or exceeds the threshold listed in the policy during the coverage period. Proof of loss or event cancellation is not necessary for the policy to trigger or pay a claim. It's very important to understand this is not indemnity, this is parametric, okay? So you can have your event you can trigger your policy if it goes through, touches your threshold in the hours that you buy, and you can play through your event and still get paid. So you can actually double dip. Something else that's unique is that it's quick and simple in the claim processing. This is not indemnity, so you're not going to be fighting an adjuster for 6, 9 months, a year down the road. If the triggers are usually paid inside of 2 weeks, usually it's inside of 10 days. And when you get the check, you can do whatever you want with the money. It's different than indemnity. So say if you had a claim on your house or your roof and you had your adjuster tell you it was the amount of X, okay, that's very different. With this amount of money, just say you had a claim of $10,000, you could pay the course $5,000, you could pay the caterer $3,000, you can pay back the drone folks or wherever you want to. So it's up to you. Okay, so this is how it works. So Vortex uses WeatherWorks claim determination system. So through a series of very intricate and complex data points, they have hyperlocal ratings, which means it's different than, say, your golf course is 5 miles from an airport where you would have basis risk in the reading. We basically eliminate that because through a series of recording analysis tools, they come right down on top of your property, okay, and basically they're measuring right on your golf course, basically eliminating the basis risk. So we provide recorded hourly precipitation measurements as little as 0.01. We write policies as little as 1/10 of an inch. And then here's some policy options. Most of the events are shotgun coverage. So just say we're going to have a noon shotgun. Everyone goes on their assigned holes, and it's usually around 4 or 5 hours. Hopefully, sometimes it runs a little bit over. So what I do is I price usually in that example from 12 to 5. Sometimes I'll show you the importance of maybe buying 11 to 5 or 10 to 5 because sometimes it's smarter if you lose people because it starts raining before the shotgun starts. If you add the hours, yes, it adds to the premium, but it also adds to the total aggregate of the total rainfall in your policy. Extended hours coverage. There's some events where, depending on your contract that you might have with the golf course, say if it starts raining through 9 holes and it's unplayable, sometimes what I'll do is I'll offer ideas. Maybe you buy 3 or 4 hours before the shotgun, and then you cut it off. So if the group is on 14 or 15, basically your contract says that you're fulfilled for your event, right? But you would have the hours prior to the shotgun. So when I get on a call with you and explain or understand your event, I'll explain this in further detail. But we can get really creative in the types of policies, the hours that you would look to buy, and the amounts that you would look to buy. And I'll help you understand that. We have 2 kinds of coverages. Actually, we have 3 kinds of coverages. We have our standard style, where if you would buy, say, 1/4 of an inch in a 5-hour period, and it rains not per hour, if it rains any time in the hours that you buy, and it's the aggregation of the rain, and it hits 1/4 of an inch, you're paid. It's that simple. So it could rain in the first 5 minutes trigger and be sunny, or it could spit rain throughout the day and total the 0.25, okay? Or it could rain intermittently through that time frame. The latter coverage is where the more that it rains, the more that you're paid out, okay? So I'm going to show you an example here at different thresholds, and you'll understand the metrics of the loss. So as it rains more people leave. They don't spend as much money, but then you get paid back as the rain increases through the different thresholds. And we just started offering a new accelerator product. So, and it's so new, it's not even on my presentation here yet. So what that means is if you bought, say, 1/4 of an inch, okay, and it rained 0.15, you would get paid the percentage of 0.15 out of 0.25, okay? So each 100th of an inch would equal a certain amount. So the premium's a little bit higher, but sometimes there's amounts where they say, Eric, it was raining a little bit and it didn't hit the trigger. Well, if you pay for this new accelerator product, you would get paid back something. So I'll also show you how that works as I get to meet everyone on this call. Big group here today, so I look forward to meeting everybody. Okay, so the parametric options. What does this include? The hours can vary per day for multi-day events or single days, or if you have a gala. Say your golf tournament starts at noon, it's done at 5, but then you have a drone drop and everyone's going to come and they're going to start spending money at the silent auction, and people come and there's a band and you're going to raise a lot more money after. You can buy additional hours, because if it starts raining at that time and people don't come, you lose that revenue from the people that would have showed up if it was sunny. Okay, the amount of rain that must fall for the policy to trigger. There are different rain thresholds. I can help you with this. I can show you what 1/10 of an inch looks like, 1/4, 1/3, all the way up to 1 inch, etc. We've got a really slick tool from the NOAA that shows what the amounts of rain are in a parking lot. Usually what people think is the amount of rain to trigger something is much less, but I will help you understand what I think and is the right amount and offer guidance along the way. Okay, the hourly data is kept on the hour, not on the half an hour. So if you said, Eric, we have a shotgun at 7:30, I would lean towards buying 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning, okay? But what we do is we try to show you what your shotgun would look like, and then we get creative and say, you know what, if you add a few hours here, you take an hour off the back end. I just had an event, I'm working with an event in the Northeast where it's an appreciation event. And they're for all of their sponsors of this business, right? So they have the golf course for the day. So they're going to potentially buy a 12-hour policy, because they're understanding that if it's completely washed out, they're out of pocket for all of the costs and what it costs to get to the golf course, the catering, and all of the on-course activities. So again, I'm going to educate everybody on this call when I talk to you individually and really understand the depth of your event, so we can get down to the price where it makes the most sense. And then we can offer different ideas, and then we allow you to pick it, which is the smartest thing that we think is the best thing for the customer. Okay, so here's a grid. This is in July. A few years back in Ponte Vedra Beach here. And you can see in the afternoon, it rains more than it does in the afternoon. Josh and I live down here. So what I can do is I can show you the different types of data if you're curious or not. But, you know, our pricing is always based off of historical data. It's data driven. In the historical analysis, but this is just something. Obviously, there was a lot of rain in this month, especially in the afternoon. Okay, here's a myth: rain insurance is too expensive, and in reality, our team works for you to create a policy that fits your needs and budget. We've really simplified it, and we've made it very, very affordable. And I'll show that to you when I learn more about your event. Okay, rain insurance is priced using historical probabilities. Obviously, geographic location. Arizona is going to be less expensive than where we live in Florida in the summer. Seasonality, here it's less expensive in the winter than it is in the summer. And time of day, like I just showed, in the afternoon it rains here. It seems almost every day, even if it's a little blast. Obviously, it's more expensive, the duration of the risk period versus less hours. I'm working with a couple of Glow Golf teams at night for some foundations, and educating them on why they should buy hours before their big Glow Golf events. But I can show you what an additional hour costs and when you take hours off as well from a premium standpoint. And obviously, the more that it's insured, the more expensive it's going to be. I think we can understand that. Okay, so here's a sample quote. In the wintertime, down at PGA National, 10 to 3, 5-hour shotgun on $10,000. Obviously, the seasonality plays a part in this. It's going to be less expensive. It doesn't rain as much in February. So in this case, this group, they bought 0.20. That means on 10,000 limit, it was $420. That means that in the event it were to rain in the hours of 10 to 3, 0.20 or higher, they get $10,000, regardless of if your event is canceled or you can play or not. So here's some pricing down in South Florida in the wintertime. That's our standard style. Here's our tiered or ladder style. How does this work? Okay, more expensive event here in Ponte Vedra Beach at TPC Sawgrass. So on 150,000 of this charity event, the premium for this style was $34.71. Again, in the winter. This means that if it were to rain between 10 and 3 and touch 0.20 and not touch 0.33, so it could go all the way up to 0.32, they would get $15,000 or 10% of the limit. If it were to rain through 0.33 and not touch 0.50, you'd get the $15,000 and the $45,000. Okay, so it's another 30%. And then obviously, if it were to rain through a half of an inch, you get the full $150,000. So there's a lot of events that buy this style. They can understand the metrics of the loss. The more that it rains, say people start to leave their tournament. Every tournament is run differently. Sometimes people, they'll play through whatever rain. Sometimes there's one-time golfers. They come, they just want to donate, and if it starts to rain, they say that we'd rather go inside and have the lunch or the dinner and have cocktails and spend money on the silent auction. So, yeah, there's a lot of different styles. Bigger events buy this. The PGA Champions Tour, they buy this style. Major League Baseball teams buy this as well. Okay, so here's a multi-day event that I wanted to share with you that we can. There are some events that run, say, a gala, or there's 2-day events. The coverage period in this 3-day event was 11 to 7, 9 to 3, and 9 to 6. Multi-year customer. They decided on the same threshold, the same limit, and in this case, you can have one day that triggers, and the next 2 days can be sunny, or you can have 2 out of 3 the first day and the third day. So again, depending on everybody on this call, the type of event that you're having, you might want to say have a certain amount of coverage for your golf tournament, and then a certain amount of money for your gala or your pickleball or your 2-day event. We can change the limits, we can change the thresholds, and I'll help you look at the amounts, and so you fully understand what the smartest avenue and the amounts to protect against are. Okay, here's a very satisfied customer. He did have a rain date. I've done a lot of deals with Gary. And he had a rain date. He got paid very quickly. It triggered. This was in the winter in Ocala, Florida. And he turned around and he bought weather insurance for his rain date too. So very smart on his part, very happy customer. So not only did they have their event and raise more money, but they were paid the $25,000 from their original date, because typically a lot of places around the country, because of seasonality, you can't rebook, right? So, but if you do, typically events aren't as well attended. So I can help you potentially, maybe you hedge half of your risk or 3/4 of your risk, and then you have some more money to buy a second policy for a smaller amount in the event that there is a rain, basically a rain out, or your event is hurt by an amount of rain. Okay, so professional relationships. We've worked with so many sections across the country, professional events, charity events, repeat customers. I've done a lot of events for the NFL alumni, professional golf, the PGA Tour up in Connecticut, Travelers. We just got done with our 3rd year with them. Last year, they had a 6-figure payout. The Dicks, I was just up in New York for that 4th year. They had a 6-figure payout last year, not this year. Folds of Honor, we write a lot of policies across the country for the different sections. Buffalo Group does all of our marketing. Perfect Golf, they're fantastic. This is our 4th year. We're looking forward to many more years. And as Josh said, for your upgrade business, whether it's Eagle, Double Eagle, or Ace, that's from 10 to 2 on a half an inch on 1,500, 2,000, and 2,500. What's happening is a lot of events are calling us saying, Eric, that's great, but we need more coverage. So if you are an upgrade client and you at least wanted to see what it would cost, please call me. I can price it or price the balance or help you understand what I think is probably smart for you to hedge on top of what you might have received in the upgrade. Before we get to the next slide, some of our customers, happy customers, please give me a call. I'm more than happy to send you 3, 4, 10 different pricing options, okay? Our goal is to make sure that you feel comfortable in really understanding how it works, how the payout works, I seldom do I ask, what's your budget? What I try to do is understand what your total event is offering. Then we price up the options and we let you see it. And then we try to help you understand what we think is a good amount to pay for a certain amount of rain. After we understand whether you're a coastal property, if it's on sand and it drains, well, maybe we take a little bit of a higher threshold, which would be cheaper. Across the Northeast and in Texas this year, a lot of rain at different types of the year, and the Midwest. So if the course is waterlogged, your water table is high. So we say, you know what? If it's a small amount of rain, the course becomes unplayable. Maybe you opt for a lower threshold. So I'll help you understand those kinds of things in the different areas in the regions of the country, depending on the year and your event. So with that being said, Josh, as we conclude here, are there any questions?
Thanks, Eric. And while you were speaking, it was raining outside our office here in Jacksonville, so I think
Oh.
we controlled that somehow. But anyway, I do have a few messages that reached out. Let me touch on the first one here. How does when you buy the coverage impact the price is the question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I'm asked that 10 times a day. What we do is we suggest whether your event is in 3 weeks or if it's in 6 or 9 months down the road. Obviously, we encourage that you price and you buy on the earlier side. Okay, we understand that sometimes events you just don't have the budget and you can't afford, whether it's $300 or if it's $3,000, depending on the size of your event. Typically, the pricing, once we price it for you, you have 45 days. Okay, that's a 45-day lock that the price won't change. If we have to reprice it, typically the data analysis from across the country, and it's based off of historical probabilities, we're going to have to reprice it. So there's a chance that it could change. It's not going to change by a whole lot, but it usually changes a little bit. So that's a good question.
Another question, which I'll kind of add to a little bit, it's related to kind of proof of claim. So if you are an Eagle or higher Perfect Golf Event software user, a couple of weeks after you register for your event, you're going to see basically a confirmation of coverage that you're getting automatically with Vortex. And then 10 days or so after your event, you're going to see a rain, what they call an expiration report, which would show, if you had any rain at your event. So you're going to see those things whether you do anything or not. So you'll get familiar with how the process works, and then you can talk to Eric about if you need to increase your coverage beyond what's provided by Perfect Golf. But the question was essentially which I may have just answered, what do I need to provide to prove that it rained at our event? Is the question.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's another good one, Josh. So typically, if you are an upgrade participant, usually the data comes from our outside weather source. Okay, our analysts look at the data, our PhDs and meteorologists look at the data, make sure that it's correct. And then if you do have a triggering event, you don't need to do anything as a customer. We provide you, and you'll see this, with a report. And that report is auto-generated, and it'll show you the hours and whether there was a trace or anything in the 10 to 2 time frame. Okay, so you get that. That usually comes within a couple weeks in the upgrade process. Now with us, if you do want to look at additional amounts and just say you had a second policy on top of that, it's the same kind of thing. We wait for the data to come in. You don't do anything. We have claims all the time. I get a lot of emails saying, Eric, it rained. We're probably going to have a claim. So what I usually tell the customer, yep, totally understand. We're going to send you an hourly report. Once we get our hands on it, we'll look at it. And if the report does trigger, whether you're an upgrade participant or you bought an additional policy on top of it, we send you that data and the check goes out really quickly. So you don't have to do anything. And so we take that out of your hands.
Thanks, Eric. And now it is really raining outside our office. So I think we're hitting our time here, and I think we've covered the questions that came to me directly. Of course, you'll see our contact information, the email you receive in just a little bit. So if we can help you afterwards, please reach out. And Eric, I'll let you close it out. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Thanks everyone for attending today. Really excited to meet all of you. Shoot me an email. My information's right there. I'd love to just learn more about your event. I'm happy to price it up. We could schedule a call, or we could talk through email or text. So thank you again for attending today, and I look forward to hearing from everyone. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.